Anyway, I want
Yeah.
to start off by talking about Harry Kane because I have to say, the reports from Germany are he wants to move. The reports from Germany are that Harry Kane likes the idea of joining Bayern Munich, and we can get into that. But they've had a bid rejected, which, when you break it down, Bayern Munich have offered £68 million for him. £68 million only. That's 3 million more than Kai Havertz for one of the best strikers in the world. George, not only just talk, I mean, I know you're offended by it, but talk, why are they bidding such a low amount of money?
First of all, I just need to just clarify what you said. Not just one of the best strikers in the world, one of the best strikers in Premier League history and English football history. This is so disrespectful. I don't know what they're doing with these low fees. They're trying to come to my club, lowball us. And I wore this shirt on purpose today. As some people may know, this is a very famous shirt. The last time a striker was forced to leave our club and go to Bayern Munich was a little old Jurgen Klinsmann. We wasn't happy that time, and we definitely ain't happy this time. If they want Harry Kane, put the money up. Give us the 100 million that we're actually talking and the one money that's going to do some business. You see me? I'm not one of these Tottenham fans that are trying to imprison Kane. Let him go. If he wants to leave, let him go, but we're only going to do this at the right price. At the end of the day, this is business. Man City tried to bully us. They will never do it. You cannot bully Levy into a position that he does not want to be in. And they're only making it worse. They think they can come out here and bid 68 million. It's only going to make the price go higher. And at this moment in time, I'm hearing Sami Mokbel come out early on today saying we want 120 million for Kane. It wouldn't have been that if they wasn't doing these low fees. But now they don't want to do these 100 million fees and pay the money that we want. It's only going to cause problems for Bayern. So I'm quietly confident that we're going to be keeping Harry Kane. Looking forward to a season with Harry Kane. And unless they pay the money that we wanted, he's going nowhere.
You're not scared about losing him for free, though?
No, I'm actually not. I feel like the prospect of keeping Kane would be a lot more promising. But once we go through the season, we know what Harry Kane's like. We've seen him sign contracts with Tottenham, and we've seen him go into talks with Tottenham after the transfer window. And that is the plan at the moment in time. If he doesn't get through this transfer window, he'll probably see how the season starts. Of course, we're going to have to be in a better position than we were last season. But if we do well and we keep Harry Kane, I feel like the team will put itself in a better position, as in finishing Champions League football places again. Keeping Harry Kane will be a prospect that I think a lot of Tottenham fans will see happening. I don't see him leaving to another English club for free unless it could potentially be Man United. But again, it didn't happen this year. It shows that they didn't really want him, and he hasn't really spoken to them. He's been speaking to Bayern Munich to potentially leave England because his legacy is with Tottenham. I feel like he knows that, he wants that. And yeah, I don't see him going for free. And to be fair, that's next season's problem. I'm trying to focus on this season, and at this moment in time, as long as Bayern Munich don't pay the money, which they look very reluctant to pay. They look like they really don't want to pay more than 80 million, which is, I think, their record transfer price at the moment. Their record transfer is like 80 odd million. So I don't think they want to go above that for Kane. And if they don't, they're not going to get their man.
Let's assume, for argument's sake, that he does go on a free. So he doesn't sign an extension. So it means in January he'll be able to speak to non-English clubs. Do you not think it's a bit silly to lose out on like 80 million euros? And also, I mean, what's the best case scenario if Kane stays? That Spurs get Champions League football, for which they'll just get knocked out early on anyway, so it's irrelevant. You've lost 80 million euros, and you haven't. And more important.
You won the Champions League once now. Don't start talking like you run through these Champions League stages.
More importantly, you won't be preparing for life after Kane because you'll have 1 year where one assumes that your manager will try to build a team around Kane or whatever. So it actually means next season you'll actually might be in a net negative situation where Kane hasn't stayed, and actually your squad's in the worst shape because you played around Kane and you haven't actually prepared for life after Kane, and you're 80 million down.
I don't feel like the 80. You say 80. So again, we need to reclare. That's 68 million including add-ons. It's not a lot of money. I feel like that type of money. If we get Champions League football next season for, let's say, and then he does go on a free, you're going to be making 40, 50, 60 odd million with Champions League football in the money that it comes with. So
I think it's around 30.
That's just the base money, but then we're talking about all the match day revenues and everything that gets built up throughout the season. It definitely goes a lot higher. So again, Tottenham aren't going to be looking at that short-term investment of getting Kane 60 million and reinvesting it, because there is no player out there like Harry Kane. There's no strikers out there that are going to come into the Premier League and guarantee you, let's say 20 plus goals in a Premier League season. No one's doing that in the world right now. You can look at Vlahovic. He's going to go for 60 odd million. Rasmus Højlund about 60 million. Osmehan 150 million. If you're talking these prices for players like Osmehan, who, let's not lie, he's had 2-3 good seasons at the top level. Harry Kane's been doing it for 9 years. Let's not put no disrespect out there. You need to be paying 90 plus million for a player of that caliber. And the fact that Declan Rice has gone for 105 million with 1 year left. Mason Mount has gone for 60 odd million one year left. And a few players are going for around 60, 70 million with 1 year left. And you're trying to offer that for Kane, who's a world-class player. It's just disrespectful. And quite frankly, it's not showing the value of what he is.
Isn't that just negotiations, though? Sorry, Nobbins. Like, they're going to go in low and see whether they can get a better deal. Because, as Nobbins said, Kane going to Bayern Munich is the best bet, because you don't want him going United, you don't want him going City, you don't want him going, of course, he's not going to go there, but you don't want him going to one of the rivals. Imagine he ends up at Chelsea. That's just that would be mayhem, like, for Tottenham. Him going to Bayern Munich actually just, it weakens you, of course, but it doesn't strengthen the rivals in the Premier League. And actually, with the funds, you can then invest into the squad that can then actually help you guys get into the top four, get into the Champions League. I mean, would your new manager even want a player like Kane if he doesn't want to stay?
I mean, I'm not being funny. Kane is not. We've seen Kane down tools for about a week or two. Man City came back and still had an amazing season. He was still scored 20 goals. I'm not being funny. Kane is not going to be the type of player to play in the Tottenham team, not want to be there, and then show his frustrations out on the pitch. I'm not being. He's the Tottenham captain. He's the England captain. He has a legacy at Tottenham, and he will never want to ruin that. So whether he wants to leave or not, I don't feel like that's ever going to be a problem. The one thing that you did say that I don't agree with is that isn't negotiations. If you're going to go to a team and you want their player, you need to show from the start that you're serious about getting that player. And throwing a lowball offer of 60 million in there to get started with, knowing that our asking price is at least 30 or 40 million above that, it doesn't show that you're looking to go in for negotiations. It looks like what they're trying to do is unsettle the player. They're trying to show that they want Harry Kane to come out like he did with Man City and say, look, I don't want to be here. I want to leave the club. But this time around, I'm not being funny, his whole camp, Charlie Kane and so on, has already come out and said he's not going to, he would never do that again, basically. He's never going to down tools publicly and say he wants to leave Tottenham. So they're going to have to pay the money. He's going to have to do it all behind doors and then leave. And if they don't do that, he's never going to come out and say he wants to leave. So they're not going to pay the money.
Look, I think in the short term, I get where you're coming from, but I kind of agree with Nobbins and the boys were saying that I think Bayern Munich's thought process is, well, we think we can get him cheaper than your asking price, because if we sign him now, he doesn't join a big rival of yours in the summer. Now, I know you don't see Man United as rivals because we've never competed for trophies together and there's no geographical connection. But there's at least one other club in London, in Chelsea, that will come sniffing for him next year. Poch is their manager, who is very close with Harry Kane. And for any Spurs fan that thinks, nah, he'd never do that, I don't believe that. I think he could. I don't think they could do it, but the arrogance I see from Spurs fans around, no, buy and give us our money, or we're keeping him, we don't care if he leaves for free. I hope he joins Arsenal next year. Just to rub salt into the wound a little bit. Like, there's
what I don't get is, wait. Why is it with Tottenham? Whenever it's Tottenham, it's, oh yeah, just take the money you get given, go over there and get what you get given. Whenever it's West Ham, whenever it's Brighton, whenever it's any other club, Man United, Liverpool, it's, oh no, if they want that money, pay the price they want.
What do you value in that, George?
When West Ham and Aston Villa held out for their 100 million price tags for the likes of Grealish, the likes of Rice, who was very much yet unproven, they got the money they wanted and they was praised for holding out that price tag. When Tottenham are doing this with a world-class player, that means the world to Tottenham as a club. He's a player that came from Tottenham. We do not want to lose him, and he's irreplaceable in world football. Why are we being the villains?
I want to respond to that. Sorry. Why? The difference is West Ham are not competing with Arsenal or with Man City for titles, for top four positions, for trophies and domestic outcomes. There's also there is a chance that your greatest ever player could leave you for free next summer. he's not going to sign a new deal and can join not just a rival for those trophies and Champions League positions, but potentially a geographical rival like a Chelsea. So it's a case of what I'm not saying, just take whatever money. I'm saying think beyond the end of your nose, see the wood through the trees. Yes, you might want 120 million for him so you can reinvest it, but maybe taking 90 in totality from Bayern Munich, stopping him from ever joining a Premier League rival is better, because him joining in a year's time is still going to damage Tottenham when he makes a team like Man United or Chelsea better that stops you from getting Champions League football and stops you from winning trophies. That's the point I'm making. It's almost, yes, you're going to lose 20, 30 million in value, but him going to Man United or Chelsea or worse is far more detrimental than walking away from 20 or 30 million pounds extra, in my opinion. That's the difference in this, my bro. I'm not actually having a pop at you guys for wanting more money. I'm saying Daniel Levy letting him go for free, considering everyone talked about what a hard bargain he drives and how amazing he is with money, you're never replacing Harry Kane. In my opinion, Spurs will never have a striker for the rest of your club's history as good as Harry Kane. And the reason I say that is because strikers like him come around once every 50 years in England, anywhere. The likelihood of Spurs having two of them on the bounce is crazy. You'll never see a Harry Kane again at your club. The last time you had a guy this good was Greavesy. You look how long ago that was, right? That was a 60s player for you, I think. So you might not be alive the next time this happens to you again. The fact he's going to be allowed to leave for free and you're not cashing it in on him and getting any money to reinvest, and you guys say how tight-fisted your board is. So imagine getting no money for him and thinking you're going to get anywhere near replacing his quality. Spurs fans should be demanding the sale of him this summer, thinking about your club more than the player. That's my view, bro.
What do you value him at, George?
Wait, let me just say, I don't feel like £90 million is a bad fee. I would 100% agree with you and say £90 million is more than enough for a player of him, and we should let him go. But the bids that they're putting in right now, which is £68 million, is
but you sound,
yeah.
You sound very similar to the West Ham fans. It was the same thing West Ham fans were saying, that Arsenal were lowballing, they weren't serious, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up meeting somewhere in the middle. Like, I think it's just very, out
wasn't
there.
In the middle, though, because they always wanted 100 and you paid
They
them
wanted
what
120. When it first started, they wanted 120.
Well,
and we ended up at
105. You started off at 75.
And we started at 80. That's the middle. That's the literal middle.
You went over there again. They wanted an English record, and that's what you gave them. You gave them a British English record.
We started at 80. We met up at 100. They wanted 120. They, it's 20 off in either direction. That's meeting somewhere in the middle. Am I doing the math wrong? It's in the middle.
95 to 100 million.
But you guys will meet somewhere in the middle.
George, what do you value him at? Because, I read earlier
again, I've said that I value him between 190 and 100 million.
Do you not think that's too much for he will be 30 in a couple of weeks? I appreciate it's very good, but he's 30 in a few weeks. It's 1 year left on the contract, and I appreciate that player values are all opinion based, but in advance of this, I did some research. So KPMG, one of the big accounting firms, values him at 70 million. Transfermarkt values him at 77 million. And the Global Institute for Sports Studies values him at 86 million. So do you not think that Levy, with his 100 million price tag or whatever, do you not think he's being a bit unreasonable?
No, because I don't ever take those type of values into consideration. If I'm totally honest, we're looking at the value of the market right now. Wait, I'm looking at the value. I'm looking at the value of the market right now.
I agree.
I'm looking at the current deals that have gone on in this transfer window. That sets precedent for the rest of the transfer window. Mason Mount, 1 year left. You even look at Brentford with David Raya. You look at all these deals where players have 1 year left and they're all getting 20 to 30 million above the price which they should usually be valued at. Harry Kane, as you said, is a once-in-a-lifetime player. Lewandowski has just turned 34 years old. Benzema has just turned 35 years old and just coming back of amazing seasons. If you guys don't think that he can go to Bayern for 2 years, perform at the best that he has already, and take it over to a league that, let's be real, has just dropped out. I think it's the third or fourth best league in the world. So it's quite low down. And if you don't think that he can score 20 or 30, or take them to whatever they need to do, they need to pay the price they want. 90 million. Kane is going to do that, and that is the value of what he
What
is.
makes you think they won't come to 90, though? I don't understand.
I don't think that's unreasonable for Jules to ask, though. I'm struggling to understand how that's unreasonable. 90 million, I think, is quite reasonable. Right now, the offers that Bayern have offered are taking the piss for Harry
70.
Kane.
They're at 70, aren't they?
70.
Yeah, but that's That's
So-
not right
so-
for Harry Kane, though. That's not right. That's way below what Tottenham should accept.
That 20 million.
Arsenal started at 80 and they got to 100. They're
I don't think
negotiating.
it's
Yeah, that's what it is. They're negotiating. Yeah, I think George is right in
Literally.
saying that he would accept 90 million. I don't think Bayern Munich are going to walk away. I think they're trying their luck. I do think that you're right in saying that they're kind of looking to unsettle him. Obviously, they know that you're probably going to accept less than what you would from a Chelsea or from a United, because again, we're rivals, we're direct rivals playing the same league. So I do think that eventually you're going to meet in the middle. But if they do hit that 85 million plus nice add-ons, or because we know Bayern are going to win stuff, right? So they're achievable. It'll be silly if Levy starts rejecting them at that point. I think for now it's right what you're doing if you're going to reject what they've recently offered. But yeah, I think 90 million is reasonable to be asking for that, to be honest. Even though he's got a year left, you've pretty much gone through all the points I would have made as well.
I feel
And
like
then
they
we also
probably
look
have
at
spoken to
Mbappe.
him
How
as
much is
well.
Mbappe again? PSG are charging 200 odd million for Mbappe with 1 year left. Yes, he's young. You're going to get a long time out of him, but still, they're charging more than what they was charging years ago when he didn't have that time left. So again,
This is
I don't know.
Mbappe is a completely different conversation, though, right? He's a
Still.
world superstar. Like
Where
Kane is a
PSG are
superstar,
allowed to
but he's
charge.
not a world superstar. Like Mbappe sets you up for life. Kane is not going to set Bayern up for life.
So with 1 year left, you're allowed to charge a world record fee for a player, which is double the price we're charging for Kane, by the way. It's crazy for us to charge 90 for Kane, who is,
I don't
let's
think
say, you say he's going to set him up
who
for
said it was
years.
crazy? Who said it was crazy?
People,
I think what Nobbins was saying about KPMG's valuation, I think that's accurate. Like that's his market value because of his age and the time left on his contract. But you're gonna add the extra 20-30 million because it's a massive asset to Spurs. Do you know what I mean? Even Declan Rice, I would say his market value is probably 75 to 80 million if you're looking at it from face value. But they added the extra because of who he is to the club and how big of an asset he is. So I don't think George has been unreasonable for us to ask for 90 million.
But not only that, it's the brand. Like when you're looking at Grealish and Rice, it's the brand that they have within the country that they're moving to. So when Arsenal are purchasing Rice, it's not only, of course, a large proportion of that is because of what they do on the pitch, but it's also what does he represent off the pitch. Declan Rice is now the skipper, captain. You're seeing him on adverts in the UK. If Harry Kane was moving from Tottenham to United, that's something that they can negotiate. In Germany, Harry Kane won't be that star.
He's
He
the
won't be that
English
big guy like that.
captain.
Yeah, but the thing is though,
Yeah,
Jerry.
but that doesn't mean anything in the German league, though.
Yeah, but the thing is though, Jerry, yeah, they can use right now. Spurs have the upper hand because they know that Bayern Munich are in desperate need of a striker, right? They need a striker because last season they literally won the league on the last day of the season, right? And Mane, obviously, he was inconsistent. He ended up punching up his teammate and stuff. I don't know what's going on there. He might end up in Saudi. They know right now that Bayern Munich need a striker. So Tottenham, they can hold out for this amount because they know how desperate they are. It will be very silly for Tottenham to accept something which is below what they should be accepting right now, in all honesty. They hold all the power right now.
But now that Bayern are bidding, though, just really quick, now that Bayern are bidding, I'm sure that they're pretty confident that they can get it done. They're not bidding just for bidding's sake. They've spoken to Kane. They probably have some sort of assurances that he's desperate to come to them. You know, they're putting it out there in the media that he's desperate to come to them. And I'm sure that they know that there is a fee that you can get to with Tottenham that will make it happen. Like, I don't think they're just out here just putting out bids like just, oh, let's just see. You know, Bayern are a serious club. Like, they are serious. If they're bidding, they feel like they can get him. I think they will. Like, they'll eventually get to the middle because Levy is not going to want him going to Man United or Chelsea. So this is it. It's happening.
I hear that. There's some super chat.